Alright, I'm going to start with the beetle first, the one in the middle. And I'm going to take my water base blue gel, and I'm going to put a little dot of glue. I like to do this when I'm trying to control my hands. It gives me something to work against. I'm going to put a little dot of glue right where the pin meets the insect, and that'll keep it from sliding up and down on the pin. And then I'm going to put a dot of glue in the hole where the pin's going to go through. Just a dollop. And then I can set the pin into that hole. When that glue dries, it'll hold it in place. Now, I have a little leeway here until the glue dries, but I want to get this specimen nice and even and set level, and so it's all just the way I want it. Because once the glue dries, it's going to stay, obviously. Now I'll do the same for the swallowtail here. I'm going to get some glue right in on the pin. And then from this side too. Okay, and then a dollop of glue on the hole. Alright, and again I want to get this nice and level. You want it level this way so it's even across, and this way. If you look at it like this, you can tell. And then we'll do the top one. Sometimes these legs are a little bit loose, and it's probably a good idea to get some glue on those too, just because you don't want the legs to break off. Once the box is all sealed up and have this leg bouncing around inside the box, alright, I'll put a little glue in the hole. Put the pin in. I like the clear glue. It's a lot easier to see. If it was white glue, you're not able to see the hole. There it is. Okay. Tweezers. I want to get these nice and level and all lined up just the way you want it. This one's slightly lower than this one. I'm going to bring it up a hair. So I'm just going to reach tweezers underneath and lift it up on the pin. I might have pushed it down on the pin a little bit when I was, yeah, I did. When I was manipulating it. Alright, so I'm going to check and double check and make sure that this is all right where I want it. I want to bring the beetle up a little bit too. Oops, too much. Knock him down a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so I will check and double check and make sure these are all lined up, and then we'll set it aside and let it dry. Now I've let this dry overnight, so the glue may not be completely dry, but enough to hold it in place. And I'm going to remove the tops of these pins. and I'll use my favorite curved fine forceps. I use these all the time. I highly recommend them. And I'll grab the top of the pin, and then I'll use these side cutters to remove the pin. So I'll grab the top of the pin with the tweezers, and then I'll put the side cutters down towards the specimen gently. Take it off. And the specimen shifted slightly, but the glue isn't completely dry yet, so I'll push it back into place. There. Alright, now I'll do the beetle. The reason I hold the pin with the tweezers is to brace it so it doesn't torque the specimen so much, and also to keep it from flying off somewhere. There. Yeah, this one did shift slightly. I'm going to put a little more glue on the pin underneath the specimen on this one, just so I'm sure it's going to hold it in place. The specimen may be rotating on the pin a little bit. Yeah. So I'll get a long pin, and I'll put some glue on the tip. So I'll have a little dot of glue there, and then I'll reach underneath and put a little on the pin where it joins the specimen. Work it up onto the specimen. Okay. It's winter time here, so it's a little humid, and that prevents the glue from drying out quite so quickly. Yeah, that looks really good. The other thing I noticed, I'm not sure if you can see it in this image, but lit from directly above, these patches are green. But if we tilt them, yeah, you can see it. See, they turn blue. Isn't that great? Green, blue, green, blue. Alright, I think I may, since it is humid, I may dry this, force dry this a little bit, and I'll show you how to do that. Right, so I'm going to use my oven in my kitchen, and I'm going to set this at its lowest setting, which is 170 degrees. Sometimes if I'm trying to dry pin specimens quickly, I'll use the oven. Start. Alright, so you do have to be a little careful with this because you don't want to overdo it. I'll just set it at its lowest setting, and then set the specimens inside, and probably let it go for half an hour. This will go up to 170, and then I'll turn the oven off and let it sit in there for, like say, maybe half an hour, and then that'll help dry them out. You have to be careful, and if you're mounting specimens on styrofoam, you definitely don't want to do this, because the styrofoam can melt at a fairly low temperature and deform, which will sort of mess everything up. But this should be fine, just like this. Yeah, it's getting warm in there now, so I'm going to let this sit here for like half an hour. Alright, so these are ready now. Looks good. And I've prepared the frame. I attached the hanger, and you definitely want to do this before you put specimens in. I actually used a little drill, and drilled some little holes, and then set nails in there with some glue in the holes to hold that hanger in place, centered. And then I spent a lot of time cleaning the glass. You really want this nice and clean because the specimens are going to be sealed inside, and if there's any lint or particles of anything, once you seal it in, there's nothing you can do about it. So the frame's ready and the specimens are ready. So now I'm going to put the specimen board into the frame. Insert it at the top first. And it fits nice and snug. Now we'll see how it looks. Oh yeah, very good. Now there are some little insects, a couple of different species, that can get inside these boxes and eat up the specimens and destroy them. So to discourage that, I'm going to fumigate the specimens in the box with mothballs. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to set a pack of mothballs on the specimen board with the frame sitting on top of it and let the fumes accumulate. And then I'm going to yank the mothballs out and seal it up. It won't last forever, but it will at least kill anything that might be in there. So I'm going to get some mothballs. This is a little paper package with a piece of paradichlorobenzene, which is used as mothballs. It's kind of smelly, but it is effective. So I'm just going to set this in with the specimens and then just set the box on top of it and let those fumes accumulate for a little while, I don't know, an hour or so, just to get the fumes sort of in around the specimens. I had a box like this recently that I'd given a friend, maybe 10 years ago, and one of the specimens was a little crooked, I don't know, they dropped it or something, and I broke the seal and opened up the box, and I could still detect a slight odor of mothballs, so that was sealed in there all that time, which helped protect them. None of the specimens were damaged. When I'm finished, when I seal up this box, I use silicone rubber along the edge where the specimen board connects with the frame, just to make sure it's all sealed up nice and tight. And that seems to work pretty well. So I'm just going to let this sit for an hour or so before I seal it up. Alright, now this is sat for a couple of hours with the mothballs in it, so I'm going to pull them out. And push the mounting board into place. Keep these mothballs sealed in a jar. Okay. Now I've got to work a little silicone rubber into this crack along the mounting board to keep it sealed up. So I'll use this silicone rubber and a putty knife. And I'll just work this in to the edge. that. And I'll just go all the way around and do the whole thing. Okay, so now I've got the silicone in the crack all the way around, and then to finish it off, I'm going to take a piece of nice paper and put it on the back just to make it, look finished. Now I've got silicone all around the edge, which will stick to this paper, but for the middle part, I'll use some wood glue. And I'll just spread this out over the board. Okay, that should do. And then I'll have to cut out the spot where the hanger is. There. Now it's hanging over the edge just a little bit here, but once the glue is dry, I can trim that off. There. And there might be there's a little silicone on the edge here. Once it's dry, it'll rub right off of this. But that looks pretty good. And then finally, I have the labels for the species. I always like to put those on there. Get a little education in, and I'll just put the label opposite. This is Papilioparis on top, so Papilioparis goes right there. I'll just get a little glue and glue that label on. So whoever's looking at it can flip the box over and have the information. And this is the beetle in the middle. And the label has the locality and the date and the species name. And I always think it's good for people to know what it is they're looking at. There. and this box is finished. Now I'll trim this edge off with a fresh razor blade. There's just a little bit of paper hanging over the edge. I just wipe down the outside, and there we have it. It's all done.